Yo, what's up guys, Venom Fire here, back from the video, and today I'm going to bring you guys another money play and one play touchdown. You guys have been showing a lot of support on these types of videos, so I'm going to bring you guys another one play touchdown, and again, a couple of other good setups to go along with it. We're going to be in the gun bunch formation today. Now, I'm actually in Raiders playbook, but this is in Jets, this is in a lot of different playbooks. It's in some bunch off sets. Can be called something different. I do think it's in Jaguars, if I remember correctly, but the play we're actually going to run is going to be the bench pivot play right there at the bottom. Now, this play is very good for a number of different reasons. That tight end corner out usually is the main reason. We can actually use that to our advantage and almost turn it into a one-play touchdown. So again, all I recommend is that you get your fastest wide receiver here on the outside. You don't need any special abilities. You don't need anything like that. And you can really run this with any team and still score it in one play touchdown. So we got our fastest guy. He's only 93 speed, so he's not going to be super fast. And you'll see it's still going to work pretty effectively there. And also, I do recommend getting at least a fast tight end. Hunter Henry should do the trick when I show it against man coverage, maybe a little bit. But anyways, with that being said, let's just hop straight into it. Before you get into the setup, make sure you guys do go ahead, hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos. You want more of these money plays and one play TDs. Make sure you guys go ahead, hit that subscribe button. But here we are out on the field. The first coverage that we're going to be going against is going to be a stock cover 3. I'll show you how to beat this. This is really the main coverage that it beats, but of course it beats man coverage. It's going to be cover 2, just not for a one play touchdown, as you might expect. Now, take a look at the routes we have. We have a stock deep dig, which is always nice, similar to flood. You have a nice little stock out route with Guyton, which of course we're going to be hot routing these two guys. And then we have this little extended zig. So here's what it looks like, kind of stock. Of course, definitely not the best play stock. I just feel like it's a little bit too congested for it to work super effectively, just stock. As far as the other setup, or the actual setup that we're going to run, it's only going to be 2 hot routes. So you can get the ball off pretty quickly. You can almost kind of quick snap him. But what you're going to do is just put B on a fade, and you're going to put RB on a little out route. Now, realistically, with RB, I could flat him. I could zig him, put him on a regular zig. But I just like the out route a little bit better. I think it's a little bit cleaner. And, of course, it's going to be a one-play touchdown. Now, taking a look at the route that's actually going to beat cover 3 for the one-play TD, it's, of course, going to be this fade route. Make sure that you do put him on a fade instead of a streak. That's very key because the streak will not work sometimes. But all I'm going to do is just try and double team this outside guy, of course. Try and slide out to that right side just a little bit right here. And then you see we do get hit as we threw. Somehow he split the double team. I'm pretty sure it was that guy that split the double team. You got to love Madden. But here we're just going to set it up very briefly. You saw how he would be open. I'm just going to roll out, and I still get shedded, of course. But we're going to throw that lays on the run with Justin Herbert. And even though it was out of range, we had enough space, enough separation to still end up scoring that TD right there. So again, you see how it works. I'll show it one more time. Hopefully we're able to throw this from the pocket now, and then I'll show you the instant replay. So we're just going to snap it. I'm actually going to stay here, throw it all the way over to the right side, and you see right there, that was from the pocket. Now, we got a bad rat catch animation, but you see we had enough separation there, and it was a pretty easy conversion, pending you get the right animation, which we did not. Now, let's take a look at some of the routes here. Of course, this corner route's a little bit weird. You see how it's almost going to start out running like an out route or a wheel route, and then it's going to cut up field, run its little, it's kind of like an S post, if you know what that is, from the deep wide receiver position, but it's actually from the tight end slot. So I like the way that these routes kind of develop, how the out route actually kind of runs like that. It's actually going to end up breaking, and so there's no confusion. They don't run into each other or anything like that. Taking a look at the outside third, you see how he's automatically kind of going to go out here. But he's just going to get at least far enough to where you're able to get enough space to throw this ball. We don't need this corner out bringing him down too much, but as long as there's someone kind of running into the area, you'll pretty much be able to have enough space to convert it. And that was, again, one of the tighter situations or simulations that you will typically see when you're running this play. So again, we'll set it up just like so, snap the ball, and there we go. We got B wide open, just pass it outside. And of course, this is without Gunslinger, so you see how maybe Bradbury's getting a little bit closer, or Logan Ryan's getting a little bit closer than they typically would if you have Gunslinger, which I'm sure most of you have if you're playing online or MUT. Of course, Regs might be a different story, but I'll just show it a couple more times. and let's say they deep half or it's just not open. Let's say you just can't get out there, you can't throw it. Of course, the corner out, it's kind of there, but it's not really going to be a kind of a route that you can actually throw. If you do want to open up this corner out, what you're going to do is just put B on a streak and just motion him out all the way. So this is what you have to do. Just put him on a streak. Of course, it's not going to be open against or for a one-play TD, but you see how we can kind of get open there. And almost when you motion him out, it seems like you open up that out route a little bit more. So I'll show it again, just like this. And you see how that out route is just going to be a lot more open, whereas typically it wasn't that much open. You see, you can just kind of pass the outside, and there we go, easy 15 to 20 yards. So you can see how the zones will play a little bit different. Sorry about that. As far as some of the other routes in this, of course, again, we have mentioned that corner route, which I'll show more against other coverages, but you have this in route, which is certainly a solid option. As far as kind of building around that in route, some things you could do is I could put Y on a little wheel. Now, I would probably be more likely to go with a setup like this if I know that the one play T is probably not going to be open. So if I notice that he's deep halving or something like that, the biggest reason for that is because you're not going to have as much protection, which means you're not going to have as much time to get the ball off. And you see I already got hit just that one time. So of course the wheel route, in route combo is pretty popular. In the beginning of the year, it's pretty popular out of flood. You'll see a lot of people go with the setup. It's pretty difficult to defend. You don't typically, when people are playing defense against bunch, they're not going to want to double flat on that left-hand side, especially when they have a headache of this type of a play. Right there again, bad animation, but you see, just very overall a headache to defend. Now, I'm actually going to hop into another coverage. I want to show it against man coverage, and we'll kind of show how to use the play if you're not going to score a one-play TD. Here we are out on the field against man coverage, going to show you how the play works from this standpoint. Now, taking a look at our routes, I could pretty much run this stock and it would be decently successful because you have that zig route that can actually beat man relatively well. It's kind of obvious to a user just because of how far it comes in, and then it's going to stop. You can kind of predict or see where it's actually going, but it's not too shabby against that. I'm just going to go with the same setup that we have been running. I want you to take a look at Keenan Allen right off the bat. His out route is going to get open. Now, out routes in this game are pretty hit or miss against man coverage. You'll either get a good animation or you'll get a terrible animation, and it just depends. Same thing with like deeper out routes. Of course, in this sense, he's actually not really getting pressed, but if you get the right bounce off the press, he's going to get open as well. Now, Keenan Allen has abilities that are going to help him. I think he has route technician, if I'm not mistaken. Or he has slot-o-matic, so pretty much route technician. That's, of course, helping him. But let's kind of show off Hunter Henry's route a little bit. Hunter Henry's route is going to be pretty successful against man coverage. That's the type of separation that you will see, and it's not just because it's a linebacker, but even online, I went against a guy in one of my gameplays. I forget which video it was, but he was torching me with this play, and that was with 99 overall safeties defending man up on the tight end. Of course, it was a higher overall tight end, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference. There you see it's a little bit of a tighter coverage, but he's never really going to be in a situation where the man coverage is going to be running ahead of him. So as long as you get a good pass lead or a good kind of throw animation, you should be in business. Now, not only do we have those routes, but we have a couple of other things that we can do. Now, something that I like to do is go with a little wheel route with Y. I'm going to put B on a little streak again, and then I might just drag RB like so, and I'm going to actually motion him across. So something like this could certainly be an option that you can go to. Of course, you see the slot-o-matic being successful again, but maybe if I had playmaker on that slot wide receiver, that could be an option that I could go to. Or even if I wanted to, maybe I like put RB on a little slant, I put X on a little smoke screen, just something kind of casual that you would expect to, catch somebody off guard. You have a slant going to the backside, he notices the corner out, maybe he's kind of forced to use it because you've beaten him a couple of times while running it. And then you can open up a slant or something like that. Of course, I can go with a popular like a curl flat combo. Maybe I hitch B. This would be a play that I would, or a setup that I would probably run more against zone coverage, but you see corner out still going to be open. Little curl flat combo, never hurt anybody. But you see how you can just kind of build around this, the corner out. Sorry about that. You can kind of build around this corner out. That's usually what I like to do in money plays, build around one route that I like, and then we just kind of mix it up, don't keep the same thing going. As far as some other things building around these two routes, what I could do is just put RB on the streak. Now this actually doesn't beat man coverage, but some people like this setup a little bit more. The biggest reason for that is that you can quick snap it because you're only making one hot route. So I can get to the line, I fade RB, I snap the ball, and that's where you can just catch people off guard or catch them in an adjustment, catch them on their defensive line. And that's probably the biggest advantage to putting this guy on a streak. Of course, if you're doing that, you're not really expecting to beat man coverage, or cover 3 rather, but you see how this out route can beat man coverage. Now, it is a very low overall receiver guidance, 72 overall, so he's not going to get that good cutting animation, but that route typically also beats man, pending it gets pressed or anything like that. Now, if I did have some other abilities, what I would probably do is put like X on a little drag, or be on a post maybe. I don't have that ability, but this would be a setup that I've talked about in the past that I could also go with in addition to the things that we've mentioned. Again, RB would be on a little post route, just that's one you get with Hot Route Master, Slot Apprentice. Realistically, I could also go with this setup, but you're not going to get the type of separation against man. It's going to be too slow to really beat a zone over on that other side of the field. So overall, typically you could stay away from that. But again, with these ideas, I could go with something like this on a very consistent basis. Just mix it up. Again, there's so many other good plays in bunch that you don't necessarily need, 5, 6 setups per play. You really only need 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4 per play because of how much you're going to be mixing things up. But anyways, that's pretty much going to do for the video. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more, and peace. I'm out of here.